Hey everybody, welcome to the show. I'm your host Sandman. Today we're going to be discussing mall ninjas. Let's get into it. I'm not going to try to convince you guys what is and what isn't mall ninja today. I'm not. But I do want to explain to you guys what used to be mall ninja in one company specifically. And basically, the term mall ninja gets thrown around a lot, and I think a lot of you folks out there that are probably close to half my age, as I'm almost 41 now, I think a lot of you don't understand what mall ninja is, where the term came from, and I would love to kind of give you my opinion on that and kind of correlate it into one company, specifically their past anyways, not their present. But I'm not, this video isn't to try to trash on South Ord specifically, because they don't offer this stuff anymore. But I just want to explain to you guys what mall ninja is. So mall ninja, as I remember it back, I was born in 84. When I would go to the malls around the late 90s to early 2000s, they would have these Oriental gift shops. And there was also another shop, I think it was called the Upper Edge. I could be maybe confusing that with something else. But there was always at least an Edge shop. And then there was usually an Oriental Gifts. And eventually I started noticing those two kind of just going into one. And then there was just the Oriental Gifts that was left. And they sold all the Upper Edge products, and then the Oriental Gifts eventually kind of went away, or they sometimes are still around, they just don't sell the same mall ninja stuff. The Upper Edge stores in the malls in North America would sell swords, specifically like Paul Chin swords, back when he actually had a good name in the sword making industry. I'm not a sword expert, but Paul Chin swords were real popular. And then, Rambo knives, and you could buy your Benchmade and your, all these different types of knives, but you could also buy police stuff. I remember I once bought a police baton. It was one of those side-handled batons back when they used to carry those, not the collapsible, batons that you see today. And I think they probably sold the collapsible batons too. But they had a lot of police stuff, a lot of paramilitary stuff, a lot of knives. They used to sell stuff for EMS. They would sell things like knives that were like multi-tools that would allow you to cut seat belts, or maybe if a person had committed suicide through hanging, you could cut the rope with that, but primarily for window punches and cutting seat belts and things like that. But they also sold funny things like throwing stars and throwing knives and brass knuckles and things basically that you would see only a ninja using, because that was real popular in the 80s and the 90s. American Ninja movies, all 15 of them, or however many there are. So ninja movies and the popularity of Rambo movies and tough guy movies with Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Steven Seagal, and, Sylvester Stallone, Dolph Lundgren, all of the 80s and 90s heroes really drove the market for what you would find at a mall. And that was the mall ninja tough guy stuff. Okay, so that's where the whole mall ninja stuff came from. And online, once we started getting more internet options around the early 2000s, we see companies offering the same thing. So this is South Ord. South Ord, as we know, is a locksmith manufacturer of goods, or locksmithing goods rather, and distributor, and they're based out of Florida. And this is South Ord Locksmith Tools used to go hard in the 80s. So this is an article from one of their, from one of their magazines. They probably used to advertise maybe in Soldier of Fortune or something like that. I can't verify the date if it was actually in the 80s or if this was the 90s. But I wanted to show you this. I know you guys aren't going to read this, so I'm going to read it too. So they had an electric lockpick, an EPG, electric pick gun. We don't need to go into that. They still have that, and a lot of companies still have that. An auto wedgie for police officers, repo people, record drivers, auto repair shops, car dealers, and anyone who needs to open a device. This tool that we fondly call the auto wedgie is about all you ever need. Forget about spending hundreds of dollars on specialty tools, bent wire devices, jigglers, tryout keys, and so on. This wonder tool by Southward opens just about every car, van, and small truck on the road. Given the new models that are immune to a Slim Jim, we know it all sounds just too good to be true, but buy one and you will be a believer. So it's kind of like selling snake oil. This device is not even on the market anymore. I don't even know what this is supposed to do, but it's supposed to wedge something. Sap Gloves. I love these gloves. Use them for years. They're great protection when climbing fences during a foot pursuit, just riding your cycle, or protecting your knuckles when some cowboy decides to run his face into them. Each glove has 8 ounces of powdered lead embedded in the knuckle area. Discreet protection, state size when ordering. Those were $69. Funny story, I actually used to wear a pair of these in 2009. I got out of the Marine Corps and was a security officer at a bank off of Colfax Street in downtown Denver, Colorado. And I used to have to deal with a lot of homeless issues and a lot of people that were trying to rob customers as they were leaving the bank. So I actually wore these as a form of really just to make myself feel better, honestly, in case I had to get with it. And they looked like regular gloves. They just looked like winter gloves, but they had steel shot embedded in them. Luckily, I never had to use them, thank God, because I could have really hurt somebody. Brass knuckles. Southward selling brass knuckles is hilarious. A blast from the past. These 1928 knuckle dusters take us back to the days of Prohibition, black sedans, and Tommy guns. They look great just laying on your desk, holding down those important papers. And believe it or not, they are so slick that many of our customers have used them to make foot pegs for their Harleys. All right, let's see. Southward Recon Fighter. This is a good one. Okay, guys, if you like a fighting knife that's built like a Hummer, we've got one for you. This beauty is heavy and heavy duty, all stainless steel construction with checkered rubber handles. The feel reminds me of my old Smith & Wesson 66 with the Packmeyer grips. It's rugged, reliable, and it won't let me down. Believe it, once you buy one of these picks, you'll never let it go. Comes complete with a web sheath. Overall length, 8 1/4 inches. My Lord, Southern Ordnance. The Southern Ordnance catalog, loaded with hard-to-find items, locksmith tools, pellet rifles, crossbows, switchblades, transmitters, bug detectors, books, and videos. Let's see, something equipment, police supplies, and much, much more. Only $3 or free with any order, or $5. I guess that's the catalog. So anyway, check money order, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, southward.com. That's it. You know, it says Dobson Park, I don't know, Florida, 33827. So anyways, this is the very definition of Mall Ninja. It's just who you cater to in your market. I think there's really good companies out today that put out a lot of fun products for the enthusiast, for the locksmith, for the tactical community, because that is a thing these days. I mean, there's so many veterans, so many people served in the military on these 20-year wars, these endless wars. I'm one of them. So there is a market for things that we're going to see from our lockpick distributors. Almost said locksmith distributors, but very few locksmiths are going to sell brass knuckles, and I don't see any lockpick distributors today selling brass knuckles. So I wanted to explain to you guys what Mall Ninja really is and what it isn't. I'm going to be completely honest. As much as I hate all of the manufacturers that are out of my top 5 manufacturers, there's 30 manufacturers to date, and I have my top 5, and I really have my 2 favorite. I will say that I think there's probably only one, like maybe Sparrows, that would maybe edge towards Mall Ninja because they're getting goofy with their locksport, lockpicking stuff. But this is the true reality of Mall Ninja, buying stuff thinking you're going to get in a fight for your life. You know, streets of death every night when you walk your your lady to her car that you're gonna fight off, you know, 5 aliens or 10 ninjas or maybe a bunch of Ruskies, because, you know, fighting off Russians was a thing back in the 80s and the 90s for some reason. So that's it, folks. That's all I have for today. I just wanted to have a little blast from the past, show you guys what Southward used to be. I'm glad they went in a different direction. I think they made more money on their lockpick sets than they did on selling their Sap Gloves, their brass knuckles, and the Southward Recon Fighter. The auto wedgie is pretty funny. That I worked for Papa Lock, and I have the best automotive tools in the world. Never heard of an auto wedgie, but maybe somebody can tell me in the comments what the heck that was used for. I'm sure it was for spreading a door apart, but man, that would cause so much damage on a door. Maybe it was for pushing the window down. I don't know. That's all I have for today, folks. Let me know in the comments down below who you think is encroaching upon a mall ninja. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I honestly don't think there are any companies that are mall ninjas today. I have companies that I don't like Sparrows, but I don't think that they're a mall ninja. I think they just running with a niche that is the locksport community, and they're trying to make, you know, companies similar to them are just trying to make fun things for us, but they do sometimes put out some pretty hilarious crap over the years, and that's it. But this is the true mall ninja. Let me know what your thoughts are. I'd love to hear it. Catch you guys next time.